Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some kind of crazy news because I'm sure you guys have heard because we've actually made a few videos on it. And it's kind of been the overall big gaming news throughout this past few days is on the Microsoft acquisition of Activision. But of course, whenever we go and see these really big acquisitions, we see the internet kind of go and get set ablaze. Where we have comments on Twitter, on Reddit, on YouTube comments, and even my own YouTube videos that people kind of throwing in a bajillion different types of, well, ideas of what they like, what they dislike, what issues there can be. And overall, this has definitely been one of those where pretty much everyone is trying their best to go and, well, give their thoughts on it. And it's actually been kind of crazy because there's two really big major IPs that are actually now somewhat taken away from PlayStation. And with that, we have a lot of folks out there that are kind of losing their minds and going a little bit crazy. But as well, we've also had even more kind of crazy news too in regards to really big sales reports too as well, which once again kind of puts even a little bit more of a when it comes to Sony itself. So we have a lot of things to go talk about throughout this video, so hopefully you guys will all stay tuned, relax, and enjoy. And as well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console and Controller. Twitter and Twitch stream as well, link down below. Sign up for Weeble and deposit $100. You guys go get free stock and free money. Same with that Coinbase too as well. I just want to let you guys know I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Let's go dive on in and definitely give me your thoughts and comments down below. So the one kind of big thing over here is that there's been two really big iconic IPs that, and even for me myself, and you guys can kind of agree or disagree down below, that were always kind of represented a lot by PlayStation. Those two, Crash, the Crash Bandicoot type series, and Spyro. Now, of course, as well, it kind of depends on the owner and how it kind of goes, but even myself played literally Crash on the PS4 as like a little sponsor not that long ago when it first kind of came on out. But the one thing is that these kind of fan groups are pretty committed. Like a lot of these folks out here love these games, love these game genres, kind of how it is for me with Sly Cooper, because I still don't understand why we don't have a PS5 version of Sly Cooper coming out. Just saying, just maybe it's in the works, low-key, we've seen a little bit of rumors on it. But the one big thing on this is the fact that these people love their IPs. Let's go and talk about that one, because some people are obviously upset and also a bit worried when it comes to the upcoming acquisition. Now, once again, I want to remind you guys, although it does look pretty likely, there's still always a chance the acquisition does not go through, whether it's from big legal issues or just maybe Activision messes up even more. All that type of stuff is always a big possibility. But with this, Crash Bandicoot is actually a pretty big Activision game that kind of folks don't really bring up. I mean, they'll bring up the Call of Duty, they'll bring up the, the Candy Crush and all that, but Crash Bandicoot and Spyro too as well. So basically with this one, we actually had basically saying yesterday, more so 2 days ago at this point, Microsoft announced is planning to buy Activision Blizzard for nearly $69 billion. And I will still stand by, that must be the biggest meme. They probably specifically did that just for the news headlines. But while I also don't necessarily know the implications of this deal, because there's just a lot of potential loose ends that have to be kind of announced, has to be officially confirmed, we also don't really necessarily fully understand what's going to happen to all these big IPs. But for now, it's clear the Activision's Blizzard's wide roster of franchises will become Xbox-owned IPs. And once again, I know we've kind of talked about this a decent bit on the channel. Leave your comments down below if you guys really think a lot of these are going to just be pure Game Pass and pure PC releases. Which, in all honesty, I will probably stand by. I think it probably will be. Like, it's not the funnest thing to go and say, but in all honesty, I can probably go and see it. So that means the likes of, well, Call of Duty, Overwatch, Crash Bandicoot especially, and Spyro all and probably will become Xbox exclusives in the future. So basically as well, we've also kind of seen this quote floating around too. Well, Phil Spencer keeps on saying he wants to go and not take franchises away from PlayStation. But if you guys look at Skyrim, you look at the other various acquisitions, they took it away. That's just business of the day. But of course, too, a lot of people are actually very just not happy. Obviously so. Like when it comes to your favorite IP and your favorite game out there, you don't want to lose it. Especially like say you bought a PlayStation 5 to literally go and play a game like, say, Crash, and then, well, it's get taken away from you. You don't know what you're going to do because of future iterations, you can't even go and play. So the big thing too in this is, which I kind of agree, because I kind of distinctly remember a lot of Spyro and Crash games back on the PlayStation. I remember the commercials, I remember just the promos, I remember all that stuff, and it's really weird to me that it's not going to be on PlayStation. I mean, I really haven't been on PlayStation for quite some time either way, but so now with Xbox ambassadors, could be, well, they actually could be the next Xbox ambassadors when it comes to games too as well. It just feels weird. It's almost like if we saw like God of War on Xbox, or if we saw like Halo on PlayStation. It is kind of that weird lopsy, like turvy thing where it just doesn't really make sense. And of course, with all this news, with these like really big hyper fans too as well, we've also seen this in other games, such as Overwatch, where a lot of people that are wanting to go get excited for Overwatch 2, they don't know the future. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going to happen. Same thing with Call of Duty, where realistically, it could still just end up on PlayStation. They just both kind of basically try to win just to make money. Xbox makes money, from selling the game. PlayStation makes money from hosting the game. Everyone kind of wins. But sometimes it just doesn't play out that way. But people are upset. People really know what to go and do, especially when it comes to tournaments, when it comes to games, when it comes to just games like, well, Crash. So as you guys can probably see, the Crash Bandicoot subreddit has basically been losing their minds. So for this, it seems that they're deeply divided at this early stage, with rightfully so. I think right now we just don't know the full amount of information available for this, where it could be good. It could have a lot more, developers and more money being put into these games. Like, so I would say Spyro and Crash, they've been very underrepresented these past few years. So realistically, it actually might be a good thing. Same with Call of Duty. Maybe they'd go and take a year off to kind of go and restructure and maybe do a 2-year cycle and maybe try to focus more on making the current game better with better maps, better features, better like updates, and actually making the game feel like a new game instead of a year, 2-year game, which I would actually probably prefer. This always could be a lot of potentially good things. World of Warcraft could maybe be in Game Pass. We don't know. And Overwatch 2 can maybe go actually even have even more characters, maybe have like more specific skins. Like there's a lot of good potential. But as well, in the reverse, there's also a lot of potential negatively bad things too as well. Because what if they completely ruin a game? What if they literally just never make another Crash game for the next 15 years and it just becomes an IP they just kind of sit on? Because why not? You never know. So I mean, I think a lot of people have the right to be a little bit more on the scared side. So for this, at least, that like realistically, how the article even says, this actually could maybe allow even more different types of people to go and start developing other games or move their developers into games or have less of a developer crunch, which I think would be good at the end of the day for the gaming industry. And also it'd be really good for all these internet brand new IPs like Crash games that really aren't just like, they're kind of just underutilized at this point. But also a lot of folks who are a little bit afraid that Microsoft will be basically neglecting Crash and at the same time basically neglecting everything too as well, such as Nico Conquers for a day. So I'll see even quotes over here basically saying, I really don't believe Microsoft isn't going to do anything with Crash or Spyro, which I agree. I think those games will sell like hotcakes, especially for Game Pass and especially as, just individual IPs. Although the one issue is that, what if they already have a contract with, say, PlayStation right now making one? Like, at that point, they almost have to sit through it because it's all a proper contract. As well as it's also not as Activision was going to do anything further with them anyways, which we did see a Crash game not that long ago. So at least for Crash, maybe. Spyro, not so much. As well, some people are also kind of sad because they don't have an Xbox and basically know that PlayStation's Crash's spiritual home too as well, and I think it'd be wrong to see him on Xbox, which is kind of the same thing I said when it comes to Halo, where realistically Halo would feel really weird to be in a PlayStation game. And even more quotes over here where people are just kind of upset, but also more so just kind of on like the, I guess just like, concern type way, for the lack of better terms, because they don't necessarily really know what's going on. Like they're like, do we want this? Is this good? Is this a good change? And overall, I do think Microsoft's been kind of in a good flow when it comes to games and gaming and making games, developing games, and definitely Game Pass. But it's kind of one of those things we'll have to see where time will tell. So basically, Crash, even more than Spyro, in my opinion, is very much tied to the PlayStation brand, which I would agree. It would really suck if it went back to an exclusive property and it was for Xbox. But once again, though, if I could play it on PC, at the end of the day, I'm happy. But I understand that some of you guys also only have one console, only have a PlayStation, only have an Xbox and stuff like that as well. And also another fan would be like, it would suck for COD or Overwatch also, but Crash feels like a special case. And for some reason, this Crash game has been getting a lot more extra love. So even over here with 36,000 favorites on Twitter, the entire world is about to forget that Crash Bandicoot was ever associated with PlayStation or Microsoft acquiring Banjo, Crash, and Spyro. I'll kidnap 1,000 scribbles before I let this company die. So basically everyone's kind of memeing on it because it is like they have very, very niche gamers. And I'm kind of the same boat. Like I play like these types of games. Like I mentioned for Sly Cooper. Like Sly Cooper, I'd feel so bad if Sly Cooper is basically gone. Also, one fan even went so far to unironically suggest Crash fans start a riot to keep the character in PlayStation, which definitely does seem like a lot. But I mean, people like their games. They like playing games too as well. But it's kind of funny because basically there's been so many memes and so many tweets and so many Reddit posts and everything all floating around when it comes to this in the first place. And when it comes to overall the sales too as well, like we saw really good sales for a lot of Activision games. Although some of the games like say Crash games, etc., haven't done as crazy good as some other games have been, but you can definitely go and tell a lot of folks are very, very adamant about loving their games and being kind of somewhat console specific and console loyal. So the one big thing for me is, what do you guys think? I know we kind of been coming up with this Microsoft news a lot, but it is very intriguing to go and see the reaction, the price, what's going to be changed in the future, and for $70 billion, this probably is the biggest, news of the year, so you guys don't mind me covering up all the news in the first place. But I want to hear your thoughts and comments down below. Are you guys going to be hopefully excited Do you guys think these IPs will ever be even used? Do you really think that PlayStation should also try their best to go and bring back old school games? Kind of give me all your thoughts and comments down below, especially that we've had like 1 or 2 days now to kind of let everything settle and kind of see, well, what everyone else thinks. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 disc, digital console, and controller. Same with that Twitter and Twitch stream as well. And of course, I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Sign up for that Weevil, sign up for that Coinbase. Give me your thoughts down below, and we'll have a bunch more videos all throughout the rest of today. Love you guys.